Hello everyone, today we are going to study about weather and climate. The term weather refers to the sum of the atmospheric conditions at any place at a particular time. The primary elements of weather are temperature, humidity and winds. Since temperature, humidity and winds keep changing from time to time, the weather is constantly changing. It is thus time and place specific. The climate of a place or an area is the aggregate or the average of the daily changing weather conditions. Climate refers to a substantially long period of time, say 5 or 100 years. The climate of a place remains fair constantly unless there are major changes in the averages of temperature, humidity, precipitation, etc. Thus, while the weather pertains to a place at a time, the climate refers to an area over a long period of time. Insolation and heat budget. Insolation is the energy received on the Earth's surface from the sun. It is the most important single source of atmospheric heat. Sun continuously emit energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation. The source of this energy in the sun is the fusion of hydrogen into helium. Electromagnetic radiation emitted by the sun passes through the atmosphere before it reaches the Earth's surface. Hence, it suffers various types of losses due to the processes such as scattering, reflection, and absorption, and only a part of it reaches the Earth's surface and gets absorbed there. Although the entire amount of insolation reaches the Earth's surface has to pass through the atmosphere, only a small part of it is absorbed in the atmosphere. The absorption is confined largely to that of ultraviolet radiation by the ozone in the stratosphere and of the cosmic radiation in the upper layers of the atmosphere, and none of these absorption really contributes to the heating of the lower part of the atmosphere. The fact that most of the solar radiation is in the form of shortwave radiation, for which the atmosphere behaves as transparent medium, explains the phenomena of little absorption of solar radiation by the atmosphere. The Earth's surface absorbs the incoming shortwave radiation, thereby getting heated. The heated surface of the Earth then radiates this energy in the form of long wave terrestrial radiation, and with respect to this long wave energy, the atmosphere behaves more or less like an opaque body. Much of it is absorbed in the atmosphere. Thus, the atmosphere receives most of the heat energy second hand from the Earth's surface. Factors affecting the distribution of insolation. The amount of insolation varies from one part of the globe to the other. The solar constant, the latitude, the attitude of the sun, the length of the day, and the nature of the surface are some of the important factors affecting the amount of insolation received at a particular place on the globe. The solar constant can be defined as the amount of solar energy received upon a unit area of surface held at right angles of the sun rays. This amount is considered unvarying, and its value is 2 gram calories per square centimeter per minute. There are, however, variations in the value of solar constant due to varying distance between the Earth and the Sun. The sunspot cycle. Sunspots are dark patches on the surface of the sun, and they increase and decrease in number and size in cyclic manner. The cycle has a periodicity of 11 years. As a result of this phenomena, the amount of energy emitted by the sun and reaching the earth varies from over time due to the varying distance between the earth and the sun. More energy reaches the Earth's surface at the time of perihelion January, and then that reaching at the time of aphelion, that is July. The surface of the Earth does not absorb all the incident energy. A part of it is reflected by the surface. The proportion of the incident solar radiation reflected from the surface is called albedo. The albedo is higher for light colored surfaces such as snow covered areas and lesser for darker surfaces. Albedo also varies according to angle of incidence of the sun rays, being higher for slanting rays and lower for the vertical or nearly vertical rays. Latitude affects the amount of insolation by affecting the angle of sun rays and determining the length of the day. As a rule, the angle of incidence of the sun rays is vertical or nearly so near the equator, and this angle keeps decreasing away from the equator so that the angle is the lowest in the polar areas. Vertical rays provide more energy per unit of area, while the slanting rays provide less amount of energy. Likewise, the amount of energy received on a longer day will be more than that received on a shorter day. Aspect of land direction in relation to the sun's ray and the character of the surface in terms of heat absorption also influences the amount of insolation. The impact of aspect is more pronounced in areas of steep slopes, such as mountainous areas and facing southern slopes and the Himalayas, as a rule receive more energy than the north facing shady slopes. Due to the combined effect of the above factors of the tropical areas receive the maximum amount of insolation and the polar areas, the minimum, the sun rays and the tropical areas remain nearly vertical throughout the year, and these areas are also relatively free from cloud cover. Equatorial regions also receive a large amount of insolation, but the total amount of energy received here is marginally lower than near the tropics. The middle latitude areas with a long summer day also receives a large amount of insolation in respective summer season. However, the long nights and very short days in these latitudes in the winter season result in lower amount of insolation in these areas in the season. The polar areas receive the least amount of insolation due to highly slanting rays of the sun for most of the time. Due to extensive snow cover in these areas, the albedo is also high there. Hence, these regions receive the least amount of energy from the sun. Heat budget. Although the Earth receives energy continuously from the sun, its temperature remains fairly constant. The only variation being the long-term climatic changes. This is so because the Earth loses an amount of heat equal to that gained through insolation. This mechanism of maintaining the same temperature by the Earth is called the heat budget or heat balance. Assuming 100 units of energy reaching the top of the atmosphere of the Earth, 14 units are absorbed directly by the atmosphere and 35 units are lost to the space through reflection. The remaining 51 units reach the surface and are absorbed by the Earth, due to which the surface gets heated. The heated surface of the Earth starts radiating the energy in the form of long rays, and this process is called terrestrial radiation. Out of total 51 units given up by the surface in the form of terrestrial radiation, the atmosphere, mainly carbon dioxide and the water vapor, absorbs about 34 units, and the remaining 17 units escape to this space. In this manner, the atmosphere receives a total of 14 plus 34, 48 units, and this amount of radiated back to the space by the atmosphere. And the total loss of energy to the space thus amounts to 100 units, 35 units reflected by the atmosphere, 17 units lost as terrestrial radiation, and 48 units from the atmosphere. In this manner, no net gain or loss of energy occurs in Earth's atmosphere. Although the Earth and its atmosphere as a whole have a radiation balance or heat balance, there are latitudinal variation in heat budget. The tropical regions in general receive more heat than is lost from these areas. On the other hand, the polar areas lose more heat than they gain in the form of insolation. Thus, the tropical areas are surplus in energy while the high latitude region are deficit in it. Such a latitudinal imbalance can be maintained only if there is a transfer of heat from the tropical to the polar area, so that the surplus energy from the tropical region is carried towards energy deficit high latitude areas. This latitudinal transfer of energy takes place through air and water circulation. Winds and ocean currents carry energy from the tropical areas to the high latitude, polar and subpolar areas. Thus, an overall radiation balance is maintained for the Earth as a whole.